Okay, so there's my title slide. Here's my outline slide. And then at the end of our session, we'll have a group of students that we've convened to share with you their experiences here at UCI. So just want to reiterate, like pretty much all engineering disciplines, what we do in real life really has an impact on daily living. Chemical engineers are involved in all major industries that you're probably familiar with, energy and the environment, chemicals and pharmaceuticals, food industry, polymers are surround us nowadays, semiconductor devices in our phones and in our computers. And chemical engineers are essential for bringing these technologies to life. We're integral in actually developing the processes necessary to manufacture these products. And actually the utilization of chemistry and chemical processes are essential in the design and innovation of new products and technologies. And what's unique to chemical engineers and what differentiates us from other engineering disciplines is really our profound understanding of chemistry and how we utilize that understanding to develop new processes. And so these processes are often inspired by natural phenomenon, and processes like distillation and extractions allow us to purify various compounds, which are really important for various high-tech applications. And things like enzyme digestion or reactor-based engineering is really important for a wide variety of manufacturing, whether it be pharmaceuticals or the new area of biofuels that seeks to extract compounds from organic matter to actually develop carbon neutral fuels. And what enables us to develop these new materials and processes is really forms the foundation of the chemical engineering curriculum here at UCI. There are kind of three major cores in thermodynamics, in transport phenomenon, and reaction engineering. And the first year and a half or so of your education here, we'll be developing the ground foundation in math, physics, and chemistry in order for you to enter this chemical engineering curriculum. And you'll start taking your first chemical engineering courses here at UCI in your sophomore year. And it's really the utilization of the fundamentals of math, physics, and chemistry, which are then applied for you to understand these core chemical engineering principles that allow you to gain the facility to develop these new technologies. And really this kind of balance understanding of chemistry, physics, and mathematics actually allows chemical engineers to command high market value in industry. Unlike other engineering disciplines, having this understanding of chemistry allows you to go into multiple industries potentially, and actually over a lifetime, chemical engineers tend to have a higher earning potential. And we have a wide variety of faculty in our program that have had experiences in a wide variety of industries, moving from the biological industry to energy to polymers. And we're really committed to student success. One hallmark of the UC Irvine curriculum is that we really go an extra mile to allow students to engage in undergraduate research. And so for those of you who are interested in actually getting some experience in the research lab to see how the things that you're learning in the classroom and in your laboratories within your curriculum are really applied to kind of cutting edge discovery, you will definitely get that opportunity to do that here at UC Irvine. And our faculty in particular are really interested in developing new processes, materials, and devices and their application within either health science and life sciences and biotechnology, or in sustainable energy. And were you to come here, you would certainly get the opportunity to engage in that activity. And then finally, just a final slide, UC Irvine has is undergoing construction right now of a really exciting new building. It's called the Interdisciplinary Sciences and Engineering Building. It will house faculty in chemical engineering, as well as in material science, biomedical engineering, and environmental engineering, along with faculty in chemistry and earth system science, to develop really a lot of cutting edge research that are at the interface of these disciplines. Our department office will be in this new building, as well as roughly half of our faculty laboratories. And so again, it's really an exciting time to come into ChemE here at UCI. And with that, I think I will turn it over to our student representative, Natalie Lamoli of AICHE. Let me stop sharing.
I'll just do, let me try that again. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. And then can we see my screen and my pointer?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so as was just mentioned, my name is Natalie Lamuli, and I am the president of AICHE at UCI, or AICHE as we call it here. And as was said previously, AICHE is a global organization, and we're just a chapter here at UCI, where our main goal is to provide chemistry undergraduates as well as other engineering students with resources for professional and personal growth. And we do that via way of, hosting info sessions with really well-known companies. And since chemistry is so broad, with especially the slides that you've just seen, there's a lot of different industries that you can get into after graduation, or places you can intern while you're here at UCI. So these are just some notable companies that have come and given info sessions to our members. Aside from information sessions, we also host socials, just to get, chemistry is hard, and it's really important to build a community while you're here to, get you through those difficult times. So this is some examples of our socials that we have. And then right here, we actually do panels with past alumni. Right here is we partnered with another club on campus, where we brought alumni back from some of these companies so they could tell us about their experiences and really pass on that knowledge of like what they've learned here at UCI, like how that has helped them in their future career. So that's AICHE. Even though we're in a remote environment, we're still pushing to have those experiences remotely, and we've done a number of virtual workshops. And if you want to get to know more about the club or what we do, I've added a QR code here for you all. So you can scan it with your phone, and it'll take you to the website or the different social platforms that we have. Additionally, I'd like to mention that AICHE has a project-based kind of branch to it called ChemiCar, and I'll pass it off to Brian Lee, who is a project manager of ChemiCar, so he can tell you more about that.
Thanks, Natalie. Could you move to the next slide?
Yes.
So as Natalie mentioned, my name is Brian Lee. I'm one of the project managers of ChemiCar at UCI. And like she said, ChemiCar is one of the side projects of AICHE. So that's why we're included in this presentation. But pretty much the goal of ChemiCar is to design and construct a car that starts and stops only through chemical reactions. So how we could start the car in many different ways. However, we can generate some sort of power or electricity, that's what we're looking for. So examples of this are a hydrogen fuel cell, which you can see on the bottom right. That was actually built for the team by the National Fuel Cell Research Center, which is also found at UCI. So they're able to build and donate that to the team, which we're very grateful for. Other ways are we could build a battery, or we could use an exothermic reaction and harness that heat to transfer into electricity. How we start the car is a little bit more complicated, but essentially all we need is a chemical reaction that has a measurable quantity, so that we can use a sensor to collect that data and send it to the Arduino that's on the car that will tell the car to stop eventually. So if you see in the image that has 4 flasks with different colors, so that was a chameleon reaction. So that changed colors as time progressed. So what we used is we used a color sensor to measure, when it's a certain color, so that it will tell the car to stop eventually. And if you notice on the bottom middle, I've added a picture of a few cars that we've done in the past, just to give everyone an idea of the scale of the project. So these are pretty small cars, we can carry and pick them up and move them around. It's not like a car that you sit in and drive, but
Yeah.
it's, well, which we get a lot. A lot of people assume that we have a drivable car, which not possible yet. But unlike the other car projects here at UCI, our project's a little bit more focused on precision and accuracy versus speed and endurance. And it's also worth noting that we've been able to apply some of the classroom knowledge to the project itself. So things like thermodynamics and reaction kinetics. have been really useful for our project. I know at least one lead is working with those concepts as of right now. So thank you.
Yep, and then just to add in, ChemiCar is really one of the great ways that you can get some of that hands-on experience while you're here at UCI. Right now, they're not accepting any members, but when I first came, you don't have to have any background knowledge at all. So if you come to UCI and you're interested in getting any hands-on type of project experience, like ChemiCar is a really good avenue for that. And it's not specific to chemical engineering majors, it's been mechanical engineering majors or people from other disciplines who have come and helped put this car together, because it really takes like a whole team and a lot of different backgrounds to make it happen. So thank you, Brian. And then with that, I'm going to just talk about myself and kind of my experience here at UCI. So I actually came to UCI as a transfer student in 2018. And the reason why I chose chemical engineering is my interests are really broad. And I knew that I like science, and I knew that engineers really made products that impacted people's everyday life. So with Chemi, I thought that if once I decide kind of what industry I wanted to get into, I could figure out I could apply that chemical engineering degree to that specific industry. As I've been here though, and I've been involved in, if you look at my involvements at UCI, within my first year, I actually started as an undergraduate researcher in Dr. Alon Hochbaum's lab, which focuses on, it's really interdisciplinary, but the projects that I focus on is really looking at the effects of a compound called rhamnolipids. It's like a biosurfactant, and how it affects the permeability of the cell membrane. And we're thinking that perhaps that compound could help antibiotics be more, or bacteria be more susceptible to antibiotics. So it has some like medical applications in that sense. So because of that first experience in that research lab and the classes that I've taken within that first year at UCI, I really wanted to delve further into research. So through different, I think it's like Europe, which is a research kind of, it's undergraduate research program here at UCI, I forget the acronym, but through there I was able to find research opportunities outside of the state and apply to those. And one of those that I applied to and I got into is at Rutgers University, where I continue to do biomedical research there. So that was another research experience. And again, through the clubs at UCI, I also got an internship experience at a startup medical device company, which lasted for a year. And as I just kept building these connections, I keep taking these classes, I've realized that I really wanted to stay in the realm of biology and apply the knowledge that I've learned in Chemi to solve really, really difficult medical problems. So I continued doing everything in wanting to go down that track by this past summer, reaching out to get a remote internship at Northwestern University with a biotechnology lab there. Essentially, my experience here at UCI, because the curriculum is so broad and there's professors who have so many different backgrounds and that you can talk to, whether they're in energy or they're in biology or they're more towards material science, they really helped me shape and figure out kind of where I want to go in my career, which for the next step right now is a PhD in bioengineering. But yeah, I'm really grateful for the interdisciplinary nature that the Chemi department has at UCI, because it really helped me figure out what I wanted to do and help me get all of these experiences here in a short amount of time as a transfer student. So imagine if you were here from freshman year, I think the possibilities are really broad. And oh yeah, and then I forgot, I've been involved with AICI since I got here too, and that also helped me. The relationships I built with my cohort has really helped me in that sense as well. All right, and then I'll pass it off to Dominic.
All right, thank you, Natalie. It's really a great pleasure to be here. Thank you everyone for coming out. So I will share a little bit of my story with you. And I guess where I should begin there is being a high school student and thinking, oh man, what do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do. And I think it's a very common story in chemical engineering. I put this little quote here. I thought, chemical engineering, I like math, I like chemistry. Let's do it. Let's see what that's about, because I didn't know what it means. And so far it's worked out pretty well. As soon as I got here, I kind of got a better idea of like what it means to be a chemi. And, there's so many different ways that you can go with that. And this is just to kind of show you what my direction is. I I've been involved with ChemiCar since last year. I'm the controls lead for that now. And now I am also the social chair for AICI. And here's just some pictures that I've taken as as a student here. I did take these on my phone. So I thought that, a camera roll kind of tells a story too. On the left, that's an Arduino that I work with on the car when Brian was describing how it stops. This is what the actual circuit looks like. It's connected to a sensor for that color change reaction he was mentioning. So that's what I do on that. And, that's been really cool to apply like the engineering fundamentals that I've been learning in class. And this is like a really cool small scale application of that. In the middle, that's just a picture of campus. I thought it'd be nice to put something pretty. And then on the right is just some setup that I had to take a picture for in ChemLab. I'm almost done with that. Right now it's remote, but as a student, I got to be in general chemistry and organic chemistry labs. And, for someone who's really into chemistry, that was a big plus there. I like that a lot. So yeah, now that gets an idea of what it is to be like a student here, I guess. That kind of leaves me here now, and I have a lot of opportunity to talk to professors and different faculty to figure out what's the direction that I want to take now that I've had like these small scale applications of my schooling. What do I want to do now? And where Natalie kind of took more of a bio direction, I thought it was really cool to work with a hydrogen fuel cell. So I really want to learn more about that and maybe get involved with some research, because we do have the National Fuel Cell Research Center here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at now. Just where do I want to go? What do I want to learn about? And I guess that's more into fuel cells and batteries. So thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and if we can hear from the other student reps that are here. Let's start with, the first one is, I'm going alphabetically on the list here, Camry.
Hey, hello guys, my name's Camry. I'm actually a 5th year chemical engineering major with a minor in management. Like Natalie, I'm more interested in kind of like the bio side of things, so I did specialize in biomolecular engineering. And I do research with Professor Reed. She was on one of the slides earlier, where we kind of work on modeling biochemical reactions and stuff through MATLAB. And I've also studied abroad, so if anyone has questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer those. But yeah, it's a little bit about me.
I think it's Kirtna.
Yeah, so my name is Kirtna. I'm a 3rd year chemical engineering major, and I'm also specializing in biomolecular engineering. And I guess a piece of advice that I would have for anyone like coming into UCI is, because UCI is very research oriented, I think a lot of other people spoke about this. I think it's always a great idea to get involved in a research lab, or like a lot of other projects that have been talked about. But yeah, I think it's a great way to get involved.
Liana?
Hi, so I'm a 4th year, actually, material science engineering major, though there is a lot of overlap between Chemi and MSc. We learned a lot of similar things, and I think on the basis of following along with what Kirtna said, I would also recommend like joining a club or getting involved in research, because getting that application of what you're doing in your classes, where you go very theoretical, and then getting the application of like, oh, this is what I would actually be like doing in real life, or here's an actual application of my coursework, is amazing to me, because it makes things click for me. And also it's just nice to see that like your courses aren't in a black box, like they get applied. You're learning relevant things. Yeah.
Magda?
Oh, hello. My name is Magda. I'm a second year chemical engineering major. And a piece of advice I'll give is reach out to get opportunities. Like, I don't know about everyone else, but my email gets spammed with like a whole bunch of opportunities. And if you actually read them and actually try to reach out to the contact information provided and try to get involved, you know, it makes a difference. So, yeah.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Patrick.
Hi, my name is Patrick. I'm a second year chemical engineering student, and I guess I'll start off with I'm kind of like in the same boat as Dominique, where he said coming into college, I thought chemical engineering was like math and chemistry and physics put together, but over time I realized that it's more scaling up, and I really do like that aspect because you get to apply what you've learned in all of these classes and see it actually become something big and useful in the industry. And yeah, a piece of advice I have for y'all is to just get involved in your first year. A lot of people want to take first year chill, but getting involved is one of the best ways to socialize and actually get out of your comfort zone. And that's really nice. And that was a great experience that I had.
Do we have any questions from the attendees? Professor De Silva, is there anything that you would like to add?
I'll just introduce myself. I'm a faculty member in the department. I play the role of the undergrad program advisor for chemical engineering right now. I don't take the place of the great counselors we have in the School of Engineering, but I know everything in and out about the chemical engineering program. So questions on the major, worries about specializations, technical electives, or even students who are thinking of changing into chemical engineering, I usually work with them. We're also continually trying to improve and upgrade the Chemie program. So that's my role. If you are here at UCI, you'll certainly see me. So.
Okay, and certainly one of the questions we always ask all students, and just to kind of give your perspective of why you felt that chemical engineering or its related major, if you're MSc, was the best fit for you at UCI.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I had a lot of different interests, whether I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into strictly with bio or energy or material science and whatnot. And I saw Chemie as a great way to get those foundational skills and that breadth of knowledge to then figure out later which way I would want to take my career. And yeah, that's kind of why I chose Chemie. And also I saw a video of a woman making Dove soap and I got really excited about watching her make Dove soap. And I thought that would be like and she was a chemical engineer. So I was like, oh, okay, you get to make products that people use that I use. So that's kind of what brought me to Chemie. And then I saw the opportunities at UCI and yeah.
Yeah, so to build off of that a little bit, with Chemie, I feel like you get a wide range of knowledge. Like I feel like this is the one engineering major where it's like you can kind of dip and dab into like all of the engineering stuff. So that's kind of, I came in actually as biomedical engineering, but then I went through a phase of like not really knowing exactly what I wanted to do. So I took a step out and came into or switched into chemical engineering, where now I feel like I can really go like anywhere with it. I can stick with biomedical devices or pharmaceuticals, or I know hydrogen fuel cells are mentioned, batteries, environmental friendly things. Like you can go a lot of places with chemical engineering. So I never feel like if you know that you like, you know, engineering in general, it's never a bad place to start in chemical engineering. So that's just my take on it.
Okay, we have one question in the list here that says, as a transfer student, will I be behind academically in comparison to students who went straight to UCI? So I'll just make a quick comment on that, and maybe some of our transfer students can mention this. You're not behind academically. The one thing to recognize is that The Chemie program here is a 3-year program, as it is everywhere. So, and actually in some respects as a transfer student, you're a little bit ahead because you've already taken some of the sophomore level classes, which opens up your curriculum quite a bit to taking additional electives, even minors and that type of thing. So you're not behind academically, but you still have the full 3 years of the program. Do you want to say anything about that, Natalie?
I'll let Brian go ahead because Brian also has some insight on that too.
Hi, so I'm also a transfer as well, and just some tips. So even though most likely you'll have completed a lot of your courses like organic chemistry and a good amount of your general electives, your GE classes, do also keep in mind that, you know, the major itself is still pretty strenuous. The courses that you'll be taking sophomore, junior, and senior year will be challenging at times. So try and stick with your same habits that you're likely doing in community college. Go to office hours, ask questions, talk to your TAs, but also recognize that coming from community college to university is very different. So the pace at which you learn, how you interact with people is slightly different. So just try and stay on top of things and try and reach out to as many people as possible. In addition, I lost my train of thought, but that's all I have to say.
One thing as department chair that I've heard is that actually our transfer students, in terms of outcomes, in terms of their GPA, they actually do as good, if not better, than students that have started since freshman year. So don't be intimidated or feel that you're at a disadvantage at all coming in as a transfer student than if you started here freshman year. In fact, I think our transfer students have very good success and have a good experience here.
Yeah, I even say that when as we're planning your schedule when you've transferred over, you actually have a bit of a buffer of courses because you're not taking the organic chemistry, you're not taking the math that the students that started during their first year. Once you transfer over from your community college, you do have that opportunity to really focus on maybe electives, but also the core chemical engineering courses, which I think some of the transfer students might agree does give you that extra maybe a couple of hours in each week to be able to study for those core chemical engineering classes. Because once you put organic chemistry and math into that schedule, it does tend to get a little difficult. So as a transfer student, you don't have, I wouldn't say you'd be at a disadvantage.
Another thing I'd like to add, some of the courses that you do take in community college, like calculus, differential equations, and linear algebra, they do show up again near your junior year and senior year of university at UCI. So that might have, personally for me, that was like 2-3 years ago. So it's important to at least brush up on some of the fundamental concepts that you might have learned a while ago.
Yes, I second what Brian has just said. Keep your notes. Anything in chem, you just keep your notes. Everything comes back. Even to the second years, keep everything.
Hey, it's at 4 o'clock now, and we need to cut out for the next session. I'd like to thank the Professor Vinegal. Well, get her mess up your name, Vasan.
Thank you, Robin. It's great to be here.
Professor De Silva, our student ambassadors, and leadership in the student organizations within CHEMI. This was a great session. I loved having both the students and the faculty member perspectives. That was really helpful. At least I thought so. So thank you all for coming, and our next session starts now. So if you can jump over to the next one, get on over there. Thank you.